Hey folks, welcome to Moonshift Audio. When you're learning to mix, getting a sense of how to EQ different instruments can be pretty tricky. So I've put together this free EQ cheat sheet, which shows you what kind of frequency ranges are likely to be important on all the sounds you're likely to come across in your mixes. This PDF covers different drums, basses, synths, vocals, and quite a few other sound sources. I've put a link to the download in the description of this video. But before you download it, there's a few things I want to cover to make sure you get the most out of it. I actually had some reservations about making a cheat sheet like this because honestly, I think with the wrong attitude, resources like this can do more harm than good. The most important thing that I can say about this guide is that it's exactly that. It's a guide, yeah? It should be really helpful for getting you in the ballpark of where you need to look with your EQing, but it's not completely infallible and it's never going to be a substitute for using your ears. Let's take a kick drum, for example. Sure, a lot of the time you'll find the punch at around 120 Hz, but not always. Believe it or not, I haven't heard every single kick drum sample in existence, so the frequencies that I've suggested are to guide you in based on my experience. You need to listen for yourself to make sure that the EQ moves you're making are doing what you want to the sound. Another thing that's really important to bear in mind when you're using a guide like this is that I don't know what else is going on in your mix. And that is probably the single most important thing to bear in mind when you're doing this stuff. Sure, it's pretty likely that, say, your lead synth is going to have a nice bit of mid-range presence at about 1K, but I don't know if your mix has also got a lead vocal and a guitar part that's also taking up space in that area, right? You need to think about what's going on in the big picture before you decide which parts of each sound you're going to emphasize and which parts you're going to attenuate. The worst possible thing you could do with this guide is to take it as gospel and start thinking, oh, okay, whenever I've got a vocal, I'm going to boost 1K for presence, scoop out 350 Hz to clean up the mud, and yeah, I'll put some air in at 12K. As soon as you start working without thinking about what you're doing, you're not listening anymore, and if you're not listening anymore, you're never going to improve at what you're doing. You always need to be listening. You always need to be thinking. So if you want to know where to sort of start looking when you're EQing a sound in your mix, by all means pull up this guide. It could be really helpful, especially if you're quite early on in your mixing journey. But before you start making moves with your EQ, please just stop for a second and think about why you're making this change and listen to what's going on in the rest of your mix. And yep, that probably means that you don't want to be listening in solo. Feel free to download the guide, it's available now, and let me know if you have any feedback on it. But for now, that's it for me. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more tips, tricks, resources, and downloads from me at Moonshift Audio. Till next time.